I feel like honestly, the DP Tusk lane is good enough that even Faceless Void might be a little bit pressured. Of course, at Faceless Void versus Tusk is kind of sad just because, of course, you get over the shards. But I feel like DP can honestly put enough pressure onto it that it should just be fine.
Radiant's turn to
And I think they go for the Enchanters just because typically, right, where the Jakira's picked up, you'd probably see a CM instead, and then maybe we'd see a different five. But knowing that they can't pick CM probably feels pretty nice. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a turnaround here, and we also get to see DogChamp more or less slot this Primal Beast yet again into
10
a core position. It's
seconds
probably going to be the
remaining.
offlane Primal paired up with that Rubik, and we'll have to see because I think
5
both those heroes they do a
seconds.
lot of magic damage. It's where five right now get to very easily pick their carry into what should be that lane. But what goes versus Primal Beast Rubik is the real question here, because that is so much magic damage. Do you just rush a pick like a jug? I don't know. It's where unfortunately there still is no great carry versus the Faceless Void, aside from Morphling, and Morphling is banned because this is CM.
Yeah. That's the one thing that like frustrates me about the Faces Void pick is like you said, there is no hero in the game that matches up well into the Faces Void carry. Like it from the carry role. It's just the Morphling. That is it. Is the only carry, and that's because he can also be Faceless Void. Like
It is
it
done.
blows my mind that the hero
Phantom Assassin.
like is the way that it is. Go ahead and pick PA. I mean, evasion will help you. You have some burst damage from this hero. You do have ways to avoid the Primal Beast now with that Phantom Strike to try and just get yourself away from the hero. But man, this hero has
10
looked pretty weak for
seconds.
the most part.
Yeah, it's very passive, and it does
5
naturally have an
seconds
escape
remaining.
against the Primal Beast in the Rubik lane. So I think being able to Blink Strike away from the trample is like a fine idea, but then it becomes a matter of whether or not the Primal Beast can just save the onslaught, because it doesn't matter if you
5
Blink Strike away if he
seconds.
can just use his Q to immediately close the gap onto you. So it's
Yeah.
kind of a sad lane anyway, but it's also just very passive. It's where I think, of course, you're a Battle Fury carry, you're going to play a little bit slower, you're going to play for a later timing, but I don't know. It's kind of a tough pill to swallow because you also announced to the entire server that
10
your carry is not
seconds.
really going to get involved very much, especially when your DP is pushing down that mid
5
tower. It's
seconds.
where we're going to see a lot less involvement, I think, from really
Players
both sides
turn to
of the game
ban.
here. It's also where I think now, depending on what you pick up for your mid for 5 rat, I think Kits is going to need to be on somebody that also needs to be a damage dealer. You're going to
Yeah.
need someone to get this game kind of busted wide open because
Minions
you're going to
turn
fall
to
pretty short
ban.
on damage pretty quickly, and Dogship, they're just hitting the pin on the head right there with both their bans. I think both of those would have been great options.
Yeah, Lena Co-op definitely. They get rid of Puck, some control that they're trying to eliminate, maybe some team fight as well. It's possible that they're looking at like a Pangolier out of the mid lane, which does offer
10
some damage. I know
seconds
Kits does
remaining.
play it, but I'm not really
5
sure if it's going to be enough.
seconds.
You do have last pick, right? That is the saving grace for 5 at 4 stuff here. You can see your matchup directly and try and counter pick it. The question is like what heroes are really going to be left in the mid pool since there's already been a ton banned so far. Man, even SF has been banned too. Wow.
Yeah, and like on paper, I think what's most likely going to happen, moving away from 5 rat span, is if DogChamp really want a super safe mid pick, they would just pick up something like the Lesh and then just be like, okay, we're a ranged hero. We can drop most of our lanes here. We're not too afraid. And then 5 rat can kind of
You
get
must
kind of sick with it.
choose.
Zeus as well. Yeah, that would have been another one of those easy draws that you can kind of just force regardless. It's where the other
Minions
side of that is they
turn
pick a
to
melee
ban.
hero and they gamble.
I was just about
That's
to
a
ask if
tinker.
they picked Tinker, man. The Zeus pick, like, kind of telegraph, or the Zeus ban kind of telegraphs a Tinker.
Yeah, it's just free now. Now they just don't have an option, and now 5 red have to make that choice where
Do you go
are we picking
Storm?
Storm? Are we picking Ember? Yeah, that's where we have to
10
bring this draft now
seconds.
because kits can only play a reactive hero, and all of the best choices versus
5
Tinker, I think,
seconds
up until this
remaining.
point, are gone. I don't know. You would have wanted to pick. That's just for Dogchamp and Bloody Nine. I think sometimes he misses and sometimes he really hits in his drafts, and they do just go for the Void Spirit, but 100% using 5 rat spans against them here.
It's just such a protected Tinker game.
And now you have to use kits. And of course, I think Void Spirit is the more consistent spirit, but in terms of his actual reach, he's probably the most limited of
Yeah, the
all
three.
three or
Yeah.
all four of the spirits where you just cannot get really that deep into it. Not to mention, I mean, I think a lot of people took a look at this hero. I'm trying to remember if it was just another one of the Team Bald games, but just taking a look at the 20 talent, which everybody was freaking out about with the CDR, where it just suddenly turns your heroes, especially your low CD heroes like Rubik and Primal Beast, into completely different monsters. I mean, scary draft to play against. I think 5RAT, they're really gonna have to
10
play well in these
seconds
lanes and then
remaining.
really try to utilize speed as much as you can. And he is on a hero that I think he's got a ton of practice with. It's the type of offlaner that he typically likes to play, but that's also where I can't be too upset. Logical debut game. Let's go. Shake it out.
Should be a lot of fun. Absolutely. I'm excited to see how this one plays out. Um, I don't know, man. I can't get over this Tinker pick. I think already DogChamp have like just a stronger draft coming like from the first 8 picks. And then I do just worry way too much that they're not going to be able to ever get their hands on this Tinker.
Yeah, no, it's tough. And of course, with Tinker, though, all it takes is 3 deaths, and then you can blow a game wide open, depending on when those deaths take place. But I feel like, especially logical early on, and logical just for all the non-knowers is doggy. I hope that'd be really funny if that's his tag. But the Tusk is gonna have to make sure that he's slowed down. We're going to need to see those ancients, those large camps blocked out. Of course, Bloody Nine and Yarm, they're both on stacking supports here, so you could see the stack game really come through here. Even Primal Beast is so adept at taking stacks. And then we might have a little bit of a problem here. Speed already has to deal with quite a few problems just even walking up to those towers. I mean, anytime he goes for a push on his own, the creep clear is just so fantastic from DogChamp's side.
God damn, there's a lot of Tinker games.
Mm-hmm. RCY, baby.
Oh, por Dios.
Not meant to be.
Level 25 Grandmaster Tinker. Absolutely disgusting. Cannot stand it. And then on the other side of the map, we do
I
have,
almost feel bad.
like I said, Phantom Assassin and AB1 on one of his favorite heroes, the Jakiro, of course.
That can't be a bitch.
Yeah, it's still tagged up as Dodgical. Classic. All right. Well, for those of you who are just tuning in, enjoy the lag. Pause real quick. No, I'm just kidding. We are in our final series of the night. It is the first game of this best of 2. It is 5RATFORCESTAFF taking on Team DogChamp. 2 NA teams, 2 NA squads, I suppose, going head to head. Should be a very fun series.
No.
Based on the draft, ET, which way are you swayed?
I mean, I'm definitely kind of a DogChamp fan right now. They've got a few broken heroes. I think we can both agree on.
Yeah.
I think to 5RAT's air quotes broken hero, I think the Death Prophet is something anybody can get behind. I like what this hero does in comp, but it's just where
I
if speed
almost
ever
feel
falls
bad.
off that horse, I almost feel like we need to see a perfect game from him on the DP. But you overextend once, you misuse your exorcism, you play at just a slightly slower tempo, and then as we've kind of seen the theme of this tournament so far, AFK farm, and you kind of just win if you're the team that's set up to do that from the start. As we do get to see, though, wards placed already. 5RAT have them both kind of in these more defensive positions and no mid ward on the, yeah. Even though Destroy did prep his just in case.
30 seconds and counting.
All right. I imagine we have to see some of these runes be contested, but I mean, Primal Beast is all the way back at his tier 3. Titan Gangster looks like he just wants to prioritize blocking the creep wave as opposed to doing anything else, so it might give 5RATFORCESTAFF 3 runes instead. Just looking like it might be the case. They forced them off the top one. Bottom room here, Kits and Destroyer. Ooh, Destroyer grabs it. So ends up still being 3 runes for 5RATFORCESTAFF, almost 4. Stonebank forced a time walk over the ice shards there, which is fine. He's gonna go time walk anyway.
I almost feel bad.
It's not too bad at all. And we'll have
This means
to
you
see.
don't have like tag team, which is kind of a big deal at finding kills onto the Enchantress, I think. But
I think it's more so that it is just 30 more mana. So when it comes to logical and a spell usage, just have to be a little bit careful with, I think, overusing the level 1 spells. It's a pretty typical mistake of Tusk. If you do end up making too early of a trades, then you just end up being tapped, and instead of getting early boots, you end up buying mangoes, clarities. Not fun stuff. Logical did do a good job already, though, making sure that small camp's blocked. They'll probably body block the large camp as well, and then B9 is forced to just go for the impetus trades eventually, even though he's got Nature's Attendance level 1.
Yeah, absolutely. They're just doing pretty good harassment here on the top lane. Well done from them. We can talk about bottom. Italiano Gangster, Primal Beast, and Rubik up against the Jakiro and the Phantom Assassin. Now, PA is actually pretty decent into the Primal Beast, like we said. Has like the Phantom Strike just to get away from the hero. Like Trample is not going to be as much of a threat as long as, you know, he has a Phantom Strike target. Yaren gonna take a lot of damage here. The Mango comes out into the Dual Breath DNM, throwing the dagger as well, but you don't have the kill threat quite yet. No level 2.
You know, that's a really smart trade from DNM, just knowing that Rubik's gonna sit there and hit me the entire time I'm taking these 3 creeps, so might as well just hit him back. Why not? They do hit level 2 slightly earlier, though, and he stepped on. He's gonna be able to outrun it barely, though.
Yeah, that's the one thing I was worried, right? Like, Trample doesn't do a lot of damage if you're not moving quick, and you're into 2 slows. So, Primal Beast might feel a little hindered until he has that extra point in that onslaught, and now the level 2 back the other way. It might be first blood for DNM. He pops the stick. He's got a dagger in 1, gets him onto the trees. 1 more auto attack. He does secure it, and that is very good start for DNM as he just books it right to the secret shop. He's going to get himself his ring of health to start this game off. He's not messing around.
Yeah, and
Ooh,
I
he's gonna
was
see the
wondering
courier.
if... Yeah, oh, Micro, Italiano Gangster.
Oh, that's a bracer.
Oh, that's kind of funny, because this is no time wasted. He's just right back into it, but I was wondering if he just buys a straight-up Orb of Corrosion, if he feels that confident, but now all of the harass that Yarn's going to put out onto DNM is just simply going to be shrugged off. This is a great start for DNM.
Yeah, you normally don't see Phantom Assassins do this. Like, this is, like you said, usually Orb of Corrosion is the play, but it's going to work. Top lane.
And we'll have to see.
Stonebank doing a ton of damage on over to speed. He actually has no points in Bash, opting for time dilation a little bit earlier here.
Yeah, it's really annoying, especially because if you can bait out the Spirit Siphon, then you just leap away, or time dilate, leap away, and then speed ends up just super slow and without a Siphon. Pretty sad state to be in.
Kits is doing super well with these remnants in the mid lane. He's managed to hit them over and over onto Destroyer's Tinker, but still can't secure the kill. And you do have to be super careful trying to dive this Tinker, as again, laser as well as rockets, just so much damage.
Yeah, it's where the Fairy Fire and even Destroyer going early on for that stick, it's a little bit of a risk. And I do hope that we see those supports get very active coming up on the runes here. That's what can really destroy Tinker's game, is whenever you do use your mana a little bit too carelessly, you do end up in situations where sometimes you do just have to straight up go back if you do get your bottle griefed 1 or 2 many times. As Primal, yeah.
Really sick play bottom. DNM and AB1. Thing is, he pops Trample, and then they just don't move because they've got the slows on him, and he can't really get away. Very sick play. And then, you know, as soon as he starts to attack, DNM just walks. Comes back in afterward, helps finish off the Rubik. Really sick play from those 2 guys. As DNM off to a superb start.
Yeah, it's where I almost wish Italiano went for like an early Windlace, something like that, pre-boots, just so you're not super all in. You can still buy your little items that you clearly want, but and it just feels like not enough is really happening for them right now.
Oh, man. Kit's getting blinded in mid lane, losing all 3 CS because of it.
Yeah, it just sucks to lane against. It's never gotten better. It's always been this obnoxious. I know whenever this turned into the build on Tinker, nobody liked March of the Machines, but I feel like this is just 10 times worse. At least
yeah, the only reason you went March was because you could farm, and now you're just like, oh, I can farm and nuke heroes? This is great.
It's one of the things to look forward to if you're that type of Dota player, I suppose, but where he's almost level 6, and then suddenly nothing matters in the lane.
Yeah. Despite it all, pretty slow game here. Oh, like both teams just trying to farm up, find their CS where they can. Pretty even. Net worth wise, the PA though having a fantastic time. And bottom lane, they're gonna try and make another play, but there it is, the onslaught away, forced to use it. And top lane, they do manage to take down V9. So 5RATFORCESTAFF off to a fantastic start this game.
Yeah, no, they're kind of doing pretty all right in all 3 lanes. First mid's going to be your little sore spot, but that's where you're not investing too much in regen. So Kits is trying to pull away in net worth-wise, even though CS, I think he's still struggling maybe just slightly. And a haste rune. This is probably the best 6-minute rune I've seen in quite a bit here. It feels like he could make probably a forcing move wherever he needs to. Especially bottom, you could probably get another quick one onto Italiano Gangster.
Is in danger.
DNM playing super far up in the lane, but they're going to get the reset here as AB1's able to get that pull. DNM does need to... I guess he doesn't really need to be that careful. He feels super strong right now.
Yeah, he's got a raindrop as well. He's got good stats. There's really not much you can do. It's where, interestingly though, 5RAT haven't decided to move their supports just yet. They're gonna try to stay in this prolonged laning stage as long as they can, just so that way they can keep that PA in a very safe spot. Don't want anybody to get too over leveled too quickly, otherwise you do see that kind of dissolve of the lanes. But it's also where DogChamp are not doing it either. They're instead focusing, again, on stacking. It's what the Enchantress and the Rubik can do very seamlessly. Of course, Bloody9's got the creep and Rubik's got the boots, so it's not going to be too hard for either of them to keep those stacks coming. But that's where 5RAT with the rotation, or rather more rotation-heavy supports, should be looking to scout those out probably in another 2 or 3 minutes here. Because you give away a few too many stacks, even though they're at a 2k gold lead now, that could start to evaporate pretty quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
30 seconds, though. Haste rune pops. I feel like that's where maybe we see him start to get active, and yeah, Kits is running.
Zooming on towards the bottom lane. They don't actually have vision scouting him at the moment, but Primal Beast he's such a hard hero to gank, and instead they will see him now making it into the jungle as Yaren trying to dodge out this Kits, but he's going to eventually be found, and they will find the stacks in the process. DNM with the crit there at the end to finish it off, and now they're going to farm your hard camp.
Yeah, this is really smart. Stealing away from the Tinker. Destroyer might even walk over, assuming that they're walking away. And he does have the vision of that high ground. It's a hard-fought camp that they have to kill, but there you go. I think that was a 4-stack as well. Farm some of those neutral items.
Yeah,
that's not a bad rotation.
7-minute mark. That feels super good. I mean, the other thing is it might have been for Tinker, but it also could have been for Italiano Gangster. Like, Primal Beast clears up those stacks super easily at levels 6 or 7 once he has phase boots. He just chews right through the camps. It would have been a good recovery for either of those heroes.
Yeah. And also just a smart read from Kits, knowing if the Rubik's not bottom, if he's not mid, if he's not refilling or doing anything, well, he's probably stacking the triangle.
Yeah, you're right. That would make a lot of sense.
Too much sense, some would say. Almost exo time though, and then it's finally time for Stonebank to get kicked out of a lane, because he's just been very easily farming top, and he's actually getting pretty close to his Midas as well. He is getting away with the greed. Gained the Morbid Mask, or not the Morbid Mask, the Possessed Mask as well. Very nice drop for the Faceless. Gets gets that greed even easier.
Nice D ward there by Yarn. He went to block the hard camp. He actually did get the block off. He knows there's a ward, or there's a ward here somewhere on the Jakiro. So you think it's on his own high ground? Oh, I think he does. Oh no. Well, we'll see.
It was not meant.
Another Lance of Pursuit. Good item.
If only it worked on Trample. That'd be the interaction of the ages.
That would be pretty
But
sick.
now,
Radiant's bottom tower is
10-minute carts are up. It's daytime. D9 might just get taken down for free. It's kind of a hard kill, though.
Ooh, instead they snowball over to the Rubik. Kits ends up backing out thanks to the TP in here from Destroyer's dog. Trying to run. It's taken out by a missile. And there's another one coming for AB1. And maybe a third to follow. Ooh, saved by the raindrop.
He's gonna have to place a ward in Fade Bolt, but I don't think Yarn has it in his inventory, and the salve as well. Yep, safe, and now Yarn might be feeding.
Yeah, it's a little bit too deep there. Does end up going down. Mid lane. Ooh, Tusk gonna TP on in. They're gonna jump for this Tinker, and honestly,
Yeah.
they got him, man. The tag team damage holding him in place. Nice blind there, but tag team still doing its work. There's the Chronosphere, only gonna connect onto the Tusk. Not the best chrono, but he has a Midas as well. And Stonebank says, all right, I've done my job, guys. I got a kill. Ooh, B9 and Italiano Gangster find a kill bottom lane onto DNM. All right, DogChamp getting on the board.
In 5RATFORCESTAFF, they were fine with everything until that kill bottom just happened. I feel like that was just Italiano maybe being level 7, just having the max out trample, and then losing his laning partner. It's pretty hard to jump to something whenever, again, Italiano can just close that distance with the onslaught. I don't know. It's kind of sad that he wasn't able to rotate out a little bit sooner, but still kind of getting away with the greed on the PA.
Tinker has his Blink Dagger now. Super annoying to play around. And Speed top lane, he's trying to bait this. Oh my goodness. Kits with the double Astral Step. Just fractions of a second off. And with that, Destroyer will be able to survive.
Oh, and that's just the difficulty, right? It's fast. It's not the longest range, and because of that, you just don't get those grabs. It's where I do wonder. I don't know. I'm not saying you have to buy a Yules or anything on the Void Spirit. That item just does not feel great anymore to rush, but anything to just give you a little bit more reach is probably going to pay dividends this game.
Radiant's bottom tower is in danger.
Oh my goodness.
Why did he steal here? Nice shards, all right. Not a bad steal.
Just the harass. And now Kits is sidelined. He wants to use his Arcane Rune aggressively, but unless he walks back to base, he has to pop through the bottle charges instead. So I think that's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, he wants to be able to fight with it.
It just does not feel great. At least you have DNM still working on his Battle Fear, and it's really good timing still. It's probably going to be like 14 minutes by the time he finishes it, but you're giving up a lot of your map right now. And this is a team fight where you don't have the vision advantage. B9 has the high ground ward already.
Yep.
You bring speed over, but bat an eye, and then Italiano Gangster's just going to come.
Coming in through bottom here with the Arcane Rune pop. They're going to smoke on the side of 5RATFORCESTAFF just outside of vision, but it's going to get popped here by Yaren. And with that, they know exactly where they are and what they're dealing with. Telekinesis will find the Jakiro into a Walrus Punch. And B9 trying to bait them out a little bit, taking a lot of damage, but in comes Italiano Gangster. Jumps through the Ice Pass, will take a little bit of damage there, but it's the Tinker as well as this Primal Beast just dumping it out. Italiano Gangster will go down now. Destroyer jumping up onto the high ground, trying to stay on top of speed. Nice 2-hero silence, and he's going to be forced to just TP on home. The Remnant catches him, though. Punished for the overextension. Yaren trying to chase. The dual breath does come through. I don't know if it's going to be enough to finish him. He's just on the other side of the tree. He doesn't have the vision.
Radiant should look to their middle.
Oh, man,
He
and
could have
Watchful
fade bolted the
survives.
Tusk for a kill, but was super greedy looking for that Death Prophet.
And now they're going to get dewarded. They just got completely owned on DogChamp. They just overstayed their welcome. They lost everything. That was what, 4 for 1? I mean, they'll take that every single day of the week. You didn't even use Exo. That was purely just kind of out-man fighting your opponents there, and then overstaying way too long, especially on the Tinker. Just used all of his mana. He ended up killing himself mostly as well. That was probably 500 or 600 damage just from Soul Ring that Kits just capitalized on.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant should look to their
Well,
middle.
they're still trying to make a play for this mid-tier 1 tower, but it's becoming increasingly difficult, and honestly, the Faceless Void is just happy, I think, at the state of things. He's got his Maelstrom now completed, just delivered with that Midas as well, so he's just going to continue farming, but in the meantime, DNM grabs that Battle Fury. Very well timed for him, as he already has the Phase Boots, too, or Phase Boots, the Treads, so both these cores finding a lot of farm on the map at the moment.
Yeah, it feels really nice. And of course, without the Midas, I think there's just a great choice.
Yaren gonna tank the gank as he walks into a smoke there.
That honestly was pretty important as well. That was right at the tail end of Destroyer actually finishing up that camp. And your mid tower, though, you're healing on the Tinker. You're not going to really be able to get here just yet. Well, Italiano Gangster's coming in first, but Gotta be so careful. And I feel like versus the Death Prophet, if you just get silenced, you're pretty much just dead. So I think this tower should go up without a fight.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Ooh, Tinker. Wait a minute. I think he tried to TP onto the backside and was like, whoops. Yaren gets scouted for the moment. That TP might cost him. Italiano Gangster does be able to connect onto the backside.
Chrono.
Big damage coming for him, but there it is. The silence once again. The Chronosphere is there. It's got to be Destroyer to start dumping in the damage. Death Prophet Exorcism expires, healing him up quite a bit, but the time dilation, man, holding him in place. He cannot escape, and Italiano Gangster jumps right on into a Remnant instead. He's got to be careful, kids. Doing a lot of damage here on this Void Spirit, and they will turn around, find a kill onto the Primal Beast. They just can't take down the Death Prophet despite it all. This Tinker's damage is not there yet.
Yeah, that was pretty much the worst time that they could have made that jump happen. Just heals to full. They're not able to get the follow-up onslaught either. It's where that value coming in from the Ice Path is just a little bit too great. And then they just decide to kill themselves on 2 cores. They just stay way too long. They play into Kits, who's just simply waiting for his abilities to come off cooldown. And then Kits simply has enough damage, especially with the Witchblade build. Just doing a little bit too much, I think, for the lineup. And they just easily run out of gas. And now, I think the next time we see anything from DogChamp is probably just going to be on Italiano Gangster's BKB, because he cannot afford to just go down like that again. That was just simply too short of a fight that he wanted. Well, B9.
Just goes down, walking around the jungle there. Okay. So, with the current state of the game, it is 14-5. I mean, things look pretty good for 5RATFORCESTAFF, but you're still finding a lot of farm on the Faceless Void. And we were talking all through the draft just how scary their late game lineup is. Do you think this game is still going the way that they want, or are they a little bit worried right now?
I think DogChamp are probably a little upset at themselves for how they've played these last 2 fights. Just kind of overstaying their welcome, being a little bit too confident about playing their wards. I think they're still happy, but they just need to take a step back. I think this BKB on Italian Gangster is really going to be that first game changer where they can actually just get carried in a team fight without Stonebank having to go in and then make that perfect chrono happen for them. But that's also where DNM almost has a full BKB on top of his Battle Fury. And then 5RAT, it's going to be their turn to move this game at least a little bit far forward. Because I think right now, 5RAT, they can't kill Roche just yet. They're not strong enough. You'll probably have to wait for them. Probably level 2 EXO plus this BKB being finished, but that's where they do need to get started.
Oh, Destroyer being greedy with his blink.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, that's just a mistake you can't make on Tinker. You just gotta always assume they're on the wave waiting for you. Immediate smoke up from DogChamp. They want to head into the triangle, see if maybe they can find the PA heading back in, but instead they're gonna walk into AV1. And not the hero they wanted to get, but you know, they could be in trouble. Kits has a haste rune bottom. The rest of them are on the way. He's gonna be pulverized, trying to finish off the Nikiro. They will be able to, but it costs you the Rubik. And Kits looking for Stonebank. Does get the time dilation on the other side of the fight. Italiano Gangster has to pop the BKB and TP on home to get away from the Death Prophet.
And here's the problem. They're just in the pit now. And you have to get back here, but it's tag team, it's EXO. I think they just have to give this away unless Stonebank really wants to say something about this.
Right? They have the creep going in. I mean, the Hellbear Smasher will give a little bit of vision for them to work with, but Stonebank decides against it. It's just too little too late. DNM's gonna grab himself the Aegis, and that's gonna be a lot of time for him to farm with.
Yeah, now this BKB, and of course, having BKB and Aegis is a little bit of a regret. It's where you could have probably gotten away with the greedier build now, but this is just, again, farm time, free farm time. And now the PA is not a target you want to go for pretty much ever. This Aegis is just going to completely secure the rest of this mid game for him. And if Stonebank wants to find a chrono target, it has to move now down the line, probably on the Void Spirit ideally, but I don't even think you're going to be able to kill Speed in a chrono now, because he also has a BKB. He is also ready to make these next team fights happen.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult here for the side of DogChamp for these next few minutes. If they can get some other big items on board, like maybe it won't be so bad. The game looks incredibly even in terms of net worth, right? Just a slight advantage for 5RATFORCESTAFF. XP a little bit in their favor as well, but it's where this gold has been what the gold has been turned into, right? You have a Midas on the Faceless Void, doesn't go nearly as far as like the BKB that you already have on the Phantom Assassin, who's Now queuing up a Desolator.
Yeah, and then you have the one issue that Faceless Void does kind of have to deal with, where you don't really have the best stat growth, you don't really have the best armor, but when it comes to playing versus anti-armor, you don't really have a good avenue for dealing with it. It's not like you build any items that come from plate mail. It's where I think probably Stonebank would like to turn his build into a Silver Edge buildup, but then again, you're not very tanky. You don't get to play that super prolonged extended fight that the Tinker most likely is going to search for. It's where you really have to make a tough choice for Stonebank here. And 5RAT, they are not worried. They are just going to keep on doing their thing. Just finished Ags, has another Arcane Rune as well on the Void Spirit. They're probably looking for another smoke.
I'd imagine so, right? Like, yeah, they sentry up the high ground. There it is. They're going to smoke up. Kit's actually just not inside of the range, but maybe you can just bait the Void Spirit mid instead.
Yeah, it is a little unfortunate. It's just really difficult to now make this play because you have to really look for anybody top, and of course, that is just the Tinker. Everybody else is playing very securely in the bottom lane. Gonna get some nice deep vision, though, that might go unscouted for at least a few minutes here, which is pretty nice, but that's where this tower push is pretty inevitable here. And unless you really want to go in a dangerous spot here for Destroyer, I feel like he should just probably chill and let his teammates come in first if they do really want to defend this tier 2.
Right,
or they just pop
comes
Exo.
out. Yeah, they're just going to go for it. I mean, bottom lane, they're going to try and just commit for this one. They do have the Troll Summoner, so a little bit of extra damage from the rally minions there. I mean, honestly, they're getting the tower pretty much just as fast. I don't think they really care all that much, but the TPs are coming in now. Speed wants to defend this. So they will take the tier 2 top, managing to defend their own tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. While mid, Destroyer needs to be a little bit careful here on the Tinker. They're thinking of going back in for it. Again, the Troll Summoner does a lot of damage, but Speed pushes it off, ends up expiring anyway. And a smoke out now from DogChamp as they're going to head up towards the top side of the map, see if they can find something. They will see DNM.
And this is where you get that kind of sketchy situation, though, where you are walking underneath a lot of vision now. And the smoke just popped. DNM is none the wiser, but look at where they're going to start playing on DogChamp because 5RAT have gone down there. This is where 5RAT can look for another smoke to capitalize on their ward here. Because B9 is nowhere in sight. It is just a matter on whether or not they want to pull the trigger, because they also don't have to. They don't have extra for 70 seconds. They could just decide to, again, take the time and farm. Aegis is out in a minute as well. But they're grouped up again here mid. And okay, they'll try it, but now they're going into the dark. They're saying, okay, they're not showing underneath our ward. They have to be on the other side of the map, almost baiting the Death Prophet bot here, but they want kills.
Man, Stonebank would be a massive find, but he's underneath his own tower bottom now. Feeling pretty safe. Did they just re-smoke? No, okay. They're gonna run right on into Italiano Gangster. He's gonna be able to pop the smoke, goes right in with the Pulverize. There's gonna be the Ice Path. He does have a BKB, but doesn't get it off in time. Stonebank comes in. Has that Chronosphere available. He's gonna drop it, catches the Death Prophet on the backside as well. The heat-seeking missiles are going to work. DNM, he's got the Aegis for about another 15 seconds. Stonebank's gotta finish off the Death Prophet, and he does get him. The Aegis will end up being consumed. Double buybacks from the side of DogChamp as they're now on their kits on the backside. But DNM, he's got to find his way out. Instead, just pops a BKB, and it's going to turn himself into a free kill. Gonna try and TP home to get the bash.
Oh.
He does. Oh, no. But goodbye, Rubik. Hello, PA. Caught by the time dilation. You don't have too many spells
Gonna go
left.
back in on Void.
And that is it. They finally get the big kill, the big fight they've been looking for. It cost them a lot, though. 2 buybacks. But they get a ton for their Tinker and their Faceless Void.
Yeah, and that was the first fight with Shiva's Guard. It was so obnoxious to actually stay around, and with all the spells that they had used on the Primal Beast, they were simply out of any catch, any type of catch for that Tinker. And then, of course, you don't have Exo for just a little bit there. It's why the smoke is a little bit insane coming in from 5RAT, just because they know that Speed is not going to be at max strength going into that engagement, but get a little bit too far ahead of themselves. And with the Aegis ticking out, you don't even get a full Aegis fight. I just felt like constantly DNM was getting kited around, and there was no one he wanted to just BKB stay on until after everybody was already taken down.
Man, Tinker gameplay, this is something else.
And now it's all going to be about that second Aegis. The game is going to start to reframe a little bit. You've got Exo again on speed, but there's no real target for you at this current point. And now it's where the defense, the wave clear, the game gets more and more obnoxious. And the logical looking for the Tinker top, but isn't able to find. And I think that Tinker also just has a BKB now, straight up. So good luck killing him.
Yeah, no kidding. They do manage to scout out a DD rune, which is, you know, was going to be pretty big, but Centaur Conqueror walks over and just kills it instead. Ooh, DNM forced a BKB bottom. Wow.
Yeah, he just double Shiva's guard, blinked on top of him. DNM got really scared, as he should have been, because all it takes is a Primal Beast, and then you are just dead on the foot of your tier 3s, but, I mean, now DNM can't show anywhere on the map for another 75 seconds. Oh, Tinker gameplay.
Yep, it is something special. Well, the side of 5RATFORCESTAFF kind of struggling here to find anything, really. Like, they just haven't really connected onto any big kills. They do have this top outpost that they can grab, you know, from the side of DogChamp, but Tinker's kind of playing with his TPs right now, trying to bait them out maybe. Top lane? Yeah, it's exactly what he's doing. He knows they're there waiting for him, and it's going to be the opening for DogChamp to maybe find them on the backside. Dog? I know it's logical, but I just see dodgical, and it just keeps confusing me. Yarn goes in, gets the blink away. B9 a little bit isolated, but Tino Gangster goes down to the backside. He gets the pulverize out onto the PA. Good start in terms of damage. The snowball is going to save him. Rubik is in trouble, but there's the Chronosphere. He's caught the PA. Where's your Tinker? It doesn't even matter. Stonebank's got the damage himself. Now his BKB's coming through. Tinker about to rejoin the fight on the bots too. Kit's in trouble. The Shiva's guard spam doing work. He gets the blink on down to the low ground. Speed here on this Death Prophet trying to do the work, but there it is. The snowballing in. It doesn't matter. They just collapse instead on top of them. And the bash after bash from Stonebank is just too dang much. He gets the TP out here on the Death Prophet, but yeah, it's looking like it's starting to fall apart here for the side of 5RATFORCESTAFF. DogChamp's lineup coming together. This MKB, just perfect timing.
And the funny thing is, he didn't even have the MKB when he killed DNM. His courier was stuck in the chrono trying to deliver it.
Oh,
stuck
really?
In the time. Yeah, he couldn't actually make its way through, but didn't matter because he caught DNM just way too early and ended up tanking, I think, a good few of those heat-seeking missiles before the chrono actually went down, but it's tough. It is really difficult now because now Stonebank can just straight up one-on-one kill the PA every single team fight. And in that fight, we also got to see without the BKB on the Void Spirit, the time dilation, even though it's level 1, and also Stonebank's crazy. He's got stats over maxing out time dilation.
What? Why is it level 1?
Because Stonebank's a madman, but it doesn't even matter because if you cast any number of spells on the Void Spirit, your hero is gunked up. You can't do anything. You're still just trapped. None of your CDs are going back down. So even though it's level 1, which is very funny, I guess it can't be level 1 any longer, right? He's level almost 25. But
yeah, he's got max stats already. Ooh,
no,
Stonebank
logical.
instantly BKBs. Time walks away. He's kind of baiting in logical, but he just decides to leave anyway. Not much time left on that BKB. Doesn't want to risk it. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Tinker is going to continue doing his thing as he's on his way to a E-Blade, it would seem.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's going E-Blade over the Overwhelming Blink. That's usually the play is like just Shiva's right into Overwhelming Blink, but
yeah. No, it's
lane
very tough
DNM,
to deal with.
Telekinesis comes out. They've managed to force the BKB, and Silent Gangster will just end up charging the other way. And with that now on cooldown, pretty rough. Roshan respawning in just 10 seconds as well, and you will not have your BKB on your Phantom Assassin.
Yeah, and I was just about to mention for DogChamp, it was mildly unfortunate that the Faceless Void was forced to use his BKB top, but, well, now that the PA doesn't have hers, well, we're even, and Faceless Voids is coming up in 30 seconds as opposed to your, what, 60? It just feels like this is maybe DogChamp's moment.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, he's just going to pop it, and any pick here, they're staying around this high ground ward yet again. This is where they lost their last fight, but they see Italian Gangster, it's breaking in a pretty unideal way.
Rocks for vision. Italiano just says, screw it, I'll go in, guys. Pops the BKB, finds the Tusk. Stonebank's looking for his Phantom Assassin, the target he wants to try and bring down. It's going to end up being the Void Spirit that pops on the backside, and Heat-Seeking Missile is going to try to give some vision. Onslaught in one. He held it for too long. He didn't really know where he went.
Very scary.
Radiant scan, eager to know die.
With that, though, the heroics from your Tusk, 16 seconds on the BKB for the PA, and you're getting dewarded, which is a little bit unfortunate, but they keep the ward. And AB1, he is at his strongest in the pit here. He's very obnoxious with these ice paths.
Look at that range, man, that Aether Lens. Yeah, if they can get the D-ward on the high ground there, it'd be really good, but it is so scary to go for it now. We're gonna see the smoke up from 5RATFORCESTAFF. Looks like they're drawing a wraparound. Want to see if they can find something here. They've got these defense matrices lining his team. Did he hit the talent?
Yep, he's got the talent, he's got the CDR.
Oh my god, he's got it.
He is primed to make this game really difficult for everybody involved, but it's the second smoke up. They're trying to find everybody in a mistake. On the low ground, they see the Void Spirit.
Oh, jumping in. Do they get the Void? Oh, just barely off the mark. I mean, 25% cooldown reduction for Chronosphere. That's pretty good if you just let it rip. Yeah.
Be real careful. Back into the pit. Yep.
Do what damage they can, try and force them here. Now, that being said, you have the Axe completed on the Primal Beast as well, and Roshan does provide Uproar stack, so he is not a fun hero to fight inside the Roach Pit, and there it is. He goes in. He's able to get on top of the Tusk and just destroys him, deleted from the game. And now back into the Roshan they go. They want to try and finish this one up. Nice pass once again. Big macro pyre as well. Speed with a beautiful blink on top of him, but the BKBs are there. Stonebank, he's got everything available. He's got a Chronosphere, but he doesn't want to pop it quite yet. He just goes right back into the road. Kits comes in. He's able to steal it. The Aegis goes down, and Stonebank dies with him as he time-lapses into a freaking ice path.
Oh,
A little bit greedy, not chronoing on that Roche death there, but...
And he just died so fast. I don't know how many times the DNM procced there, but that was just... At first, you think he's not going to get his BKB off, but he popped his BKB. It got off sometime during that ice path, but just doesn't matter. He just splatted. And now, well, sure, you lost the Aegis, but that is a whole bunch of net worth in XP that just swung into 5RAT's lap. Not to mention, DNM now pretty much has a full Abyssal Blade now if he wants to complete it, and he can actually just solo kill these heroes. He's had to kind of move around the fights and navigate and wait for his opportunity, but if he could just start on anyone, you will get chain stunned and you will die.
Yeah, that was a really good positioning, honestly, by DNM. Just okay. Well, talking about DNM positioning, he might be a little bit dead here. Okay. Well, Big Bad Tinker has appeared. No BKB, right? Like, he knows he can't do anything. Mid lane DNM, or not DNM, sorry. Italiano Gangster gets the jump onto the Void Spirit. They're trying to just chain stun him down, but the Glimmer Cape's going to protect him for the moment. And Jakiro, the only hero that ends up dying here. Void Spirit barely making it out.
That's right. Even though you got that pretty sick kill, you get the turnover in the Faceless Void. Is it too late? Are we too big into Tinker time? We don't even have the Hex built up just yet, but that's where a great Tinker player can just kind of take the game into their own lap.
Oh, they gotta be careful. There's the rock throw. It's caught him. And with that one, as a super dead Tusk. Italiano Gangster's actually done really well with the rock throw in this game.
Yeah, he's been one of the few Primal Beasts that is actually, I think, really valuing it. He got it right after his BKB, which I think is where you probably should get it, but it's just such an insane, honestly, tool of initiating, where you just throw it. It also doesn't make a noise until it lands, so it's not the same thing with Onslaught. It's huge.
Oh, the taunt. Yaren with a really sick remnant there, actually slowing down Kit's initiation, and it will give him the time to actually take the fight. Yaren with a crash in the middle of the fight. Oh no. Well, mercy, says Kits. I don't know if he's gonna get it. That's looking like a really dead Void Spirit. He's got the attack speed chrono talent. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, but honestly, that looked so good. It looked
Oh,
so close.
Tinker's chasing down Speed on the other side of the map.
Yeah, there's a few things going on right now.
PA's coming up in 4. Like, Faceless Void can kill him in well under 4 seconds. It'll just take a couple. But he's got to get out as soon as that kill happens.
Yeah, and the only thing that could maybe save Kits is if he somehow survives the chrono, is getting Glimmer caped by AB1, but I think he's probably just dead the rights.
Wait a minute.
He got that huge resonant pulse from before though, and it actually saved him. The huge resonant pulse on 3 heroes.
Okay. Yeah. Tons of shield absorb.
And Speed escaped as well, so Chrono wasted smoke opportunity for 5RAT.
Rubik does have like the shard on the Remnant, which is like the new one, which is pretty neat. Basically makes it so that it pulls everything during its duration and reduces the cooldown pretty substantially.
Makes it so you don't get griefed by creeps either, which
Yeah.
of course matters more the more creeps there are, which is always later on in a game. It's a very cool change. Also, I don't know, giving him the Ag Shard effectively for free at 15, you know, people were already buying that on their own terms.
Yeah,
Feels
it was
Void
very
Spirit
good.
got a pretty nice stuff.
Ooh.
Hex though.
Oh, they managed to find him. Yeah. Time a gangster. Gonna get caught by the Blink Hex there of the Death Prophet. Very sick pickup. Destroyer here in the top lane. Just continuing to be Tinker, I suppose. He's gonna TP
Just
on
got
home
his
after cutting the
25.
wave.
Got
Oh
that
my god, he has the
heat-seeking
mini
missile
stun.
stun.
Oh,
Yep.
it's so annoying.
No, it's very obnoxious in these team fights. Can also very consistently mess up your heroes, especially Void Spirit and Tusk, where you just don't realize what's going on, or your cast animation is just slightly a little bit too long, and then you end up getting hard punished. But it's also where Speed with the Hex can honestly get this game started and get this game going for them. He doesn't have a Lincoln Sphere. I think he's still going for, still going for the Hex, and it's actually very close. Would have it without buyback, which is a little bit risky, but that's where the focus for DogChamp, I think, is still on just ruining DNM's game. He's really just keeps on getting the short end of the stick. He just doesn't find a team fight where he ever gets to either survive or just kill off these heroes. And even looking at his item build, he's got an Aeon just queued up. That's pain right there.
Well, Tinker was going to buy the Hex, instantly sells it, and is going back for the Overwhelming Blink. I agree. I think this is definitely the build instead. It's just, it makes it so, you just end up doing way more damage in fights. And it's impossible to play around the double slow of like Shiva's and Overwhelming Blink. You also like clear waves way faster. Yeah, mid lane, they do manage to find Yarn once again. Honestly, I've been like pretty impressed with like AB1's Jakiro this game. He's had some really sick ice paths.
He
Havoc
knows
Hammer.
exactly how to land it. And a lot of people honestly started looking at Jakiro at the turn of the patch, not the letter patch, but just having Ice Path lingering for an additional second
It was so
after.
nice.
It is just that quality of life that you don't think is going to change a lot, but then it ends up being pretty impactful, even though a lot of regions still, I think, highly undervalue that hero just because of how broken heroes like, I think, Chen and Enchantress typically are. So those are the heroes that are picked instead.
Well, game's slowing down again. A 12k advantage so far for DogChamp. I mean, it's really just been the Tinker, like, finally finding farm, whereas, like, he was kind of slow for a while in getting here, but at this point, he's just absorbing so much of the map. It is a little bit of a double-edged sword, though, right? Because that means some of your other heroes on your team are going to start to struggle in terms of being able to find their own farm.
Yeah, it's where you have that vacuum at the top that just ends up pulling everything, and it's not as if DogChamp don't have great scaling supports either. I think both the Enchantress and the Rubik.
Oh,
the Chrono!
They got the PA, the charger on the backside. Should be able to finish him off, and it is. They get a big kill there. Well done waiting for that one. Good patience, but they're going to chase after Stonebank. His BKB already expended, hexed up, held in place, gets 4-step, time walks away. Can he survive? Oh, another crash. Oh my god.
Well,
I mean, Yarn is literally just standing AFK in the middle of the fight without a single spell stolen. So I do understand the want to
Yeah,
pause, but at the same time, this is a
I don't
rough
even.
2 fights in a row. I don't think he can get out here on the Faceless Void. He just got silenced here by Speed. Exorcism is running with a BKB. It's looking like he's dead. He's going to need a miracle.
Yeah. As well as, I think that's what Yarn already used it. He's just going to turn around and zap the Tusk, but I don't know. This is an unfortunate. I don't even think it's one of those. It's just one of those auto pauses, right? Because he just disconnected so quickly. But
Yeah.
no, this is very tough. 29 is completely fine though. He just pops his Ghost after and ignores the rest of the team fight. But
This pleases
whether or
me
not
to
Speed
no
can
end.
actually walk this one out after the fact, because you look over at Destroyer and he has absolutely everything still. This Tinker has a lot more to give into this team fight.
He also picked up the Timeless Relic, so a lot more spell damage than what he previously was bringing. They did buyback on the PA. It wouldn't surprise me if they just completely bail on this fight. Like, they'll just take the kill onto Tusk and leave. They're going to lose Stonebank. I don't know how they get the Faceless Void out of this. Like, he surely has to die.
I think it also might be relying on AB1 hitting this next ice path. Just because I think those Exo units are still more or less aggroed onto B9, so when it comes down to it, he is only getting sucked right now.
Yeah, and the dual breath damage is and stuff is just not enough quite yet. Yeah, we'll see. Oh, man. Unfortunate.
See, the funny thing is that they're talking about the exact same thing. Both sides are definitely thinking right now everything that could happen. It's funny because usually in pauses in these types of situations, a lot of times both teams do just walk away because both sides realize that this was just a bad idea.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I mean, but that being said, you bought back on PA. Like, they
That's
have
what
to get
hurts the
something out of this
most.
fight.
Exactly. That's where I think DogChamp, who would have maybe thought that they could have taken the fight in the surprise factor of the PA buyback, is just completely ruined.
Yeah, Faceless Void, here it is. Can he survive? Nah, Speed does end up getting him. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Just completely bail out of the fight. B9, still taking a ton of damage here from Speed. Glimmer Cape, even alive for the moment, but Kids will help finish him off. So nicely done there. And Yarn will steal a Resonant Pulse, but that kind of gives away his position a little bit. Ooh, gets the Blank out into the trees. Ends up getting zapped. Speed knows he's here, but a Glimmer Cape. Ice Path has got him. AB1, nicely done. A little bit of a greedy play there from Yarn. He could have just blinked deep into the trees and TP'd.
From the void.
But,
Yeah, I just stayed along the path.
oh, beautiful fight there from 5RAT. The buyback ends up being worth it. The question is, what can they find with this? Because you're going to have a Tinker constantly split pushing your lanes. He's even got an Arcane Rune bottled for the next fight, which is going to be terrifying. Sitting on about 7,800 gold, so...
Dude still hasn't bought his overwhelming blink. I'm getting upset.
He's itemizing for the Hex, it seems. He's just waiting for Hex buyback, which I like overwhelming blink way more personally, but...
Oh, and here we go. This is going to be a very important timing. Very kind or very unkind for the Rats. And it's a 16-second timer. You get to slot out immediately for this Aegis now. They just need to scout it out. They just need to check the earliest possible timer. I've never seen as many early Roches as I've seen today.
We've had a
All
lot,
it takes
yeah.
is them to check it.
Oh,
Please.
he's got it.
AB1. Yes.
He scouts it. They know. Faceless Void's respawning, does have the Chronosphere. If the Dire scan out the Roche pit, they're gonna know, but they've got to do it quick because DNM, he's in there.
And they
Getting
also
to work,
just need
and
to
it has
check
fallen fast. They're sending the creep. It's gonna be too late. They have no idea. And with that, third Roche of the game, including an Aghanim Scepter, is gonna go the way of DNM, and that is a terrifying Ags.
And they're coming, but yeah, it's just way too late. Any vision that they could have gotten is not going to exist for them, and now if the reset happens, still dangerous position to be in. You can definitely get chronoed on your res and then just still die back if you are this PA, but a whole lot of confidence just got shifted in 5RAT's favor. My goodness, early Roaches.
Yeah. Destroyer did buy the Hex out, so if DNM gets caught out on one of the side lanes, he can die 100-0 by himself, but I doubt he'll make that mistake again. As he just now hits level 25. I'm curious which one he goes for. Honestly, the 7% coup de grace could work this game. I think most often it's the triple stifling daggers. Oh, he does go the coup de grace chance. I love it. All right, Kits. The help of speed, gonna find that kill in the mid lane, and a quick kill from DNM there onto B9.
You know, the coup de grace chance is definitely, I think, in a game like this, where it doesn't really matter, your opponents don't really have too many summons, pushing out waves is also still completely fine. You just want to kill who you gotta kill. And this is definitely gonna make his job just a little bit easier. But now, it's aggress time. They've got Exo. They can't just kind of go up. They're trying to maybe greed out. They gave the Tome just now over to speed, trying to get his 25. Probably for... Ooh. It's kind of tough. Both are great, but...
DNM's getting an Aeon disc. He says, screw it. I'm not gonna worry about dying twice now. So, I mean, basically no gold advantage. Everything that they had built on DogChamp prior to that Roche exchange is gone. So we're back to a dead even game now, 21-31, but no gold advantage. And almost no XP advantage either.
Yeah, no, we are right down the middle, and as we talked about earlier, even on the low end of things, I feel like 5RAT have a little bit of an advantage just because it feels like their heroes are maybe a little bit more useful with as little gold as they do have. Of course, you'd love items like a Hex on AB1, a Lotus Orb, stuff like that, but at the same time, you just have so many big factors. Snowball is always useful. Ice Path is always useful. The Enchantress, however, I think is struggling really hard to stay relevant in this game. Right alongside the Rubik. He's been trying to get steals, but one thing I've noticed is Yarn has almost never gotten Ice Path. AB1 has been so careful. He's never been giving away those free spells. If he did, this game would be completely turnaroundable for Yarn. He'd be having, I think, a much greater impact, but it's just where the hero has not messed up.
Ooh, snowball in, manages to find B9, jump in from Italiana Gangster. He does have the pulverize. He's looking for his target, but it's going to be Destroyer, just dumping it in on the Tinker. He'll find one. The rest of the heroes back on out. On the front side, B9's going to go for a D-Ward. He will find it. And it seems like 5RATFORCESTAFF do not want to pressure that.
And you got to be careful as well. And I see how they like to play this going forward, because right now it feels like for DogChamp, all four heroes pretty much have to stay connected with each other. If you don't, then you can still get bursted. Stonemek is probably the one exception to that rule, just because of how tanky his build is going to become once he has his Satanic, but until then, he can still probably die fairly easily as long as the NM can stick on top of him for any number of time, but that's where I'm staring at top. I'm seeing how confident Destroyer is feeling here.
If he manages to get on top of him before that blur, yeah, it's scary though. Because there's always that like fraction of a second it takes for the blur to actually pop, so you're not going to get the instant hex.
And now, part of the game where this Aegis is a minute out, you've got, what, 2 minutes left on your buyback on the PA, so a little bit of a scary time where you really want to just hug your high ground wards as opposed to doing anything too wild, but that's where the smoke action. They're looking for a play on their bottom outpost.
Oh, he gets them with the
scouting.
remnant. They know. Okay. And with that, they're just going to back out immediately. I mean, dude, this Aether Remnant talent is actually insane with how low the cooldown is. He has like Quickening Charm. Plus the Spell Instills cooldown at 15. Yeah, this thing, it's a 6-second cooldown Aether Remnant. That pulls for like ridiculous. Almost 3 seconds.
See, that's where you almost hope that DogChamp lose the team fight so Yarn can make a string of Aether Remnants, you know, to lead a horde core somewhere.
Yeah. Just pull someone like 800 units.
It's the network in case somebody blinks in and they end up under tier 4s, both bottom. This is more setup than they've previously committed to.
They're gonna get the tier 3 Destroyer. Thinking of, I mean, there's no way he jumps in like that alone. Oh, they see Destroyer TPing. He's gonna blink instantly. He needs to be very careful. Kits goes in, gets the remnant. Oh, it's just off the mark. They held themselves for just a little bit too long.
it was already like a pretty scary jump just because they don't have actual any vision to see invis units. It's where that Glimmer Cape honestly just pays dividends because we literally can't jump AB1 because he's invisible and nobody has vision because everybody is getting pretty much slotted at this point as we get later and later on into this game. But Aegis is reclaimed, buyback is up in 7 seconds, and looking at the buyback board, everybody has buyback. Nobody is playing on the edge here. Everybody's just looking for that late game status that we are very quickly barreling towards.
Yeah, no one really wants to mess around with it. We have Stonebank who's queuing up a Nullifier. I'm not really sure how you feel about that one. A little bit interesting for sure. We have the Overwhelming Blink. We do. And he's still got buyback. Okay, so Tinker, Overwhelming Blink equals secured. DNM, Aeon Disc secured. So he is, yes, going to be able to survive the Chrono, but if that Nullifier comes out and surprises him, it could be a big deal.
No,
They're going to bottle up a DD Rune bottom.
Very
With this,
scary
we might see
timing.
DogChamp smoking up. They will. Destroyer just going to TP back to base first.
Yeah, and it's like, Nullifier is a hard choice, but with 2 Aeon Discs already picked up, it's your only choice. Well, I guess 3 technically, because Kits is not playing around. He's got the disassemble ready just in case, but that's also where, even though I do like it, items like Refresher are almost just as good because, well, if they're going to Aeon Disc pop your first Chrono, then might as well just have a complete second set of Chronos and BKBs, but it's always a tough choice.
We've seen Faces Voids have some oopsies with refreshers recently, by the way. Oh, Hex manages to catch the Enchantress. She's not an easy kill, but...
Oh,
dude,
again?
This is ridiculous. What is happening?
Hey, this is where Yaren's got to uninstall the drivers, reinstall the drivers. Crashland lift.
So he's
Oh, on
crashing when
the-
he so he's pressing telekinesis on someone and then just instantly crashes.
I see. Well, I'm assuming he's using it on an ally, right? So it's the ally Agshard interaction, which is crashing him, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it would seem like.
How peculiar.
Because I don't think he telekinesis to anyone else in this fight.
Well, so let me do the math here. If Yaren's 10k and my computer doesn't crash when I lift, then I guess I'm just better.
Yeah, lifting allies crashes his game. Interesting.
This is
Wow.
almost... Thanks, Logical.
Sick Logical. Oh my god. Dude, it's like every time he telekinesis someone, like someone on his team just have to pause the game. This is ridiculous. Enchantress does end up getting blown up. Here's the thing. That hero lives if he doesn't crash on the telekinesis. Because they'd end up like 900 units away.
Yeah, he would have been able to just pull him. I think he even got lifted and then just immediately slammed down. Right?
Yeah, that's what's
Something
happening.
like that. And now look, they're still fiending for this Yarn kill, but this ward is just a little bit too good. And yeah, finally
Oh,
dewarded, but
telekinesis
lifted.
onto the Void Spirit. And
He's
Yarn
crashed
crashed again. Instantly crashed. Dude, I cannot believe this is a thing.
You know, you saw it there. He couldn't do anything. And
Yeah,
that was on
he
an
just-
enemy. He was so confident too.
Yeah,
lifted
he
an
just
enemy.
he just blinked into like it was kind of like a test case. He's like, all right, wait a minute.
Quest for ultimate glory continues.
Yeah, they're just gonna say go. He's dead. They don't want to care about his buyback at this point. They're just gonna try and take the fight maybe. Speed is Aeon Disc is popped. Kits does have his ready to assemble in his backpack. Dude, this has to be one of the most game-losing like crash scenarios I've ever seen. BKBs are out. The Chronosphere just instantly is going to just focus down the Death Prophet. Stonebank is there on the backside. The Hex, he's got to be able to pop the Aeon Disc. There it is. Disarm, able to get away for the moment. Time on a Gangster with the Refresher, chasing after Kits. Does he get the... Oh, he gets away with the Hex there just in time from Destroyer. They lose 2. Buybacks are available. As again, we talked about this. Every single person in this game had buyback going into this engagement. It's now been spent on B9.
In 40 seconds. Yaren, you are alone.
If Dev's watching,
but that was also pretty expensive. That was both of Italiano Gangster's BKBs. That was his refresher. He's kind of tapped for
Oh.
anything. Oh,
Wait a minute. Stonebank, he needs to be careful. There's the Walrus Punch. Get pushed away. He's dead. Just blown up by DNM, but his BKB is expired, and the Tinker thinking of coming in. No, ends up deciding against it. His speed pops his own BKB, standing on top of the Primal Beast, and DNM able to reinitiate, bounce back and forth between these targets, and that is going to be a big fight there for the side of 5RATFORCESTAFF. They're coming out way ahead. That being said, they've got no waves.
Yeah, they aren't able to push. That's something that the Tinker will continue to make them struggle with. But at the same time, yet again, 40 seconds added to the Roche timer. Another super short Roche. One where there's no Chrono, there's no Faceless Void. They'd have to buy back, and Yarn scouts it out. Again, it's just a matter of whether or not 5RAT are the ones to take a peek into the pit. Oh my god, he just refreshed on speed. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it just wants to have it up right away. He's walking in. Yarn would love to telekinesis him, but I'm pretty sure he knows he's going to crash if he does. Oh, no.
Now, they scouted out themselves, and
gonna bait
unless
the
they want
Roche
to
here.
play,
DNM has the
they
Aeon Disc.
really want to.
Oh, Glimmer Cape. Oh, Yarn gets the blink away.
Oh,
Ice Path up onto the high ground. Who they found? It's going to be the Rubik off to the side of the Destroy here on the Tinker. Doing work. Trying to just dump the damage out. The Hex onto the Tusk. Yarn. Glimmer caped up, but still ends up dying at the end of the day. The Tinker throwing these missiles out. But they don't have the damage to find the kill. You're still missing the Faceless Void, and PA is in the Roche pit. Trying to grab the 4th Roche of the game. Another Aghanim Scepter. This one, I mean, it's got to go on to like the Death Prophet, right?
it's really tough because I feel like you could also probably make an argument.
Oh,
yeah,
it's on logical. He wants the kick, baby.
the Tusk feels pretty great. And now, I mean, they've got Refresher, they've got Aegis, they've got so many things. Effectively, you have 3 Exos if you want 3 Exos. I think splitting it up is definitely smart, though, because now, yeah, you're in that situation where you have 2 Andis to play around with. You barely have the Nullifier finished up on Stonebank, but even then, we got problems. We've got some pretty large issues now. And with that, Speed should be able to just kind of bust it down. Of course, the only reason he takes it is because he doesn't have buyback, but if you want to get this game started again for 5RAT, they totally can with this Exo.
Well, we'll see what they can do. Bottom lane. The lane is pushed in quite a bit. Obviously, PA is going to come back to pick this one up. I mean, I feel like we're still in for a really long game. I don't know if any team is like any closer to finishing this one as we were like 20 minutes ago.
DNM is 10,000 gold.
Okay, that is true. DNM does. He has 10,000 gold and a circlet in his backpack.
Yeah, it's time to buy some boots of travel.
It's time to
I
sell
respect
some stuff.
it.
Yeah.
I respect it, but yeah, boots of travel too. Yeah, why not? You know, just anything. He's really been struggling to grow. It's kind of sad to say it, but you do have so many prerequisite items you need to buy in PA. But a dog.
Oh, they go in. Yeah, B9 with the Glimmer Cape, keeping himself alive. Stonebank with big Chronosphere, but no, he gets clipped by the Ice Path. Nullifier there to break down the kits. They got him. There's going to be logical Yules to buy him a little bit of time, but they're turning their attention elsewhere. It's going to be a Titan Gangster chasing after these heroes. Yarn on the side gets caught by the PA, but he gets the E-Blade off. He's going to be fine. Speed jumps in, pops his BKB. Destroyer is here. Can they get the Hex onto DNM? He does. The Nullifier is there. Can he actually catch him? No, it's not. They get the turnaround. Void goes down, and Yaren on the run. On the high ground is going to be Tinker trying to TP on out, but it's not going to happen. He gets the E-Blade, feared up. He falls. He does have the buyback. Toyota Gangster pops the BKB, trying to hobble away, but I don't think he's going to be able to now. The Walrus Punch was there. He does a ton of damage, but these guys are just a little bit too strong.
No,
3 heroes dead now.
Next Exo on the high ground. This is going to be the buyback. A dual Yaren. Huh. He's not casting lift. He's unbound his Q key, I think.
I mean, that's the thing that's so crazy is he literally can't use one of the most important abilities of this hero's kit.
And now look, going up is going to be the Exo. They've got buybacks on everyone, of course they do, but now the win condition presents. If you can somehow kill the Tinker, use your buybacks, use anything. The only one who's not allowed to die right now is Kits. You lose him, and you probably lose any aggression that 5RAT can put out onto the map, but you get the Tinker, the game's not necessarily over. There's still a Faceless Void who's going to fight you for it, but at the same time, the base defense almost seems impossible at that point. Yarn.
Oh, Yarn gets caught. Walrus kick sends him back. He goes down. His buyback's up. But a nice catch there by the Void Spirit to go in with that silence.
Very annoying.
Missile spam. Very annoying to deal with. Exorcism has expired. They again had to have the Aegis. He just backpacks the Aeon Disc because he's trying to not let it get popped here by the missiles, which is absolutely the correct play.
And he's just A-clicking it to death.
It looks like it might work.
The Tinker's gone. He's bottom right now. He kind of relieved himself of the base defense duties. Kind of makes sense. He even gets to buy a Wind Waker though. And that will be very problematic because there are no nullifiers. There's nothing that you can send him out of that. So that could be RCY's move to kind of just save himself in the worst case scenario. But at the same time, they're looking for a jump. They love to get Stonebank again.
The Blink Hex, the Force Staff, going to be able to get him some space. Logical needs to be careful.
Chrono.
Stonebank, he does have the Chrono. Maybe he didn't see the PA, but we'll just try and take down Logical first. That's the first kill. On the other side, Speed with that Stormcrafter trying to hobble away. Oh my god, I felt like that was the Dream Chrono. 3 heroes there, but Stonebank maybe just didn't know.
Everybody was glimmered. They actually didn't have Sentry superiority there. It's where AB1 was still maintaining a lot of that control. And without the Enchantress super far forward, and Bloody Knight, he tried at the end there to just Hurricane Pike himself in to give them the vision. They didn't get the sight of the other two in time. So they just get to walk away in what I think not necessarily the game, but could have been a more domineering position for sure. Because now we're back into that reset.
Looks like a hero. Looks like he may have accidentally used telekinesis. He did. He was literally testing is what it was.
Just doing it for fun.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's trying to find like what scenario or if any scenario that he can actually use the ability, but it looks like it literally is unusable. Some bug in the game potentially, like combined with the shard maybe? I don't know, but every single time Yarn casts his ability, his game crashes.
It's got to be the pony. It's the staff.
That's a good voice line. Yeah, man, that is gotta be infuriating.
And of course, if you're a DogChamp fan, it's where you hope they win game one, right? Just almost out of the idea that they have to play with what is just the game playing against them. So that way there's no question of what this game's results were. But at the same time, I think 5RAT are also in a really good spot.
Yeah, this is, man, I like one of the only reasons you pick Rubik is for this spell, right? It is mind-boggling that this is the case right now. It is such a good save. They've actually lost like multiple heroes this game because he couldn't telekinesis allies out of like scenarios. And like imagine Faceless Void gets jumped, right? He can't telekinesis save his Faceless Void. They have Force Staffs in place and stuff. Like you'd be able to telekinesis him away. It's like all these things matter in a game like this.
Yeah, and well, we'll have to see because 3 minutes left. We got next batch of the broken items. It's where, honestly, if we're DogChamp here, what could very likely happen is we just see everybody turtle. We just see the base now just become a no-go zone, and then if you're not ending the game on tier 4s, DogChamp don't bat an eye at the team fight, which means that there's going to be a 5th Roche, which means there's going to be tier 5s. Everything is about to break.
I mean, the fifth Roche is going to line up actually very close with tier 5 items, right? The potential to respawn is pretty much at that 60-minute mark. Tyno Gangster in the mid lane here, just trying to do what he can to take down this tier 2 tower. Neither team wanting to commit super heavily. And that will be the last tower. Now, one thing I just noticed, there's still a almost full health tier 1 tower in the bottom lane because of Destroyer's Tinker. They can never get this wave pushed.
Yeah, it's going to turn into, I think, a 5RAT smoke, probably during the next daytime. just so that way they could have a next objective, because it feels like the racks and the tier 3s are just that much easier to take. But we're also in that type of game of Dota where you have Tinker, you have Battle Fury, PA, you have so many tools. Megas doesn't matter. We are going to need to see the Ancient die before anything decisive happens. Either that or everybody is dead, not unable to respawn. At this point, the infrastructure does not matter. So they kind of have to go up through bottom just so they have something to play for it. But at the same time, going down mid, it sounds kind of like a meme, but that kind of might even be the best choice.
Yeah, absolutely. DNM picks up a nullifier himself, tired of the Ghost Scepter Force Staff shenanigans. Both outposts going to be controlled by DogChamp for the time being, and honestly, it's a big deal leading into this tier 5 item spawn. Both teams a little bit afraid to actually start in a fight right now. They don't have a lot of vision to play with. They're just going to hover around this one ward in their triangle here on 5RATFORCESTAFF and say, you know, if you walk into us, we'll take the fight.
And finally, as well, and something that they've been doing is, yeah, the stockpile of smokes that 5RAT have been able to accumulate. They use one right now, but they've got another one on the back burner whenever it does come down to it. But that's also where DNM has stopped farming effectively. He's been giving a lot more time for his Tusk and Jakiro to start catching up, and that's exactly what you need to do here. It's where the supporting cast does become more and more of your win condition. And look, he's going to place the ward with the smoke. They don't know anything right now. As well as the refresher. Stonebank just bought it. They're in there.
Oh, they got him. The question is, can they get the kill? He gets... Oh, the bash! He's gone! He didn't time walk it! Oh, he tried to just chrono first instead of time walking, and he's going to pay for it as he's dead right at the 60-minute spawn. Tier 5 items are up.
Structures
Oh no, they glyph. They glyph aggressively for Italiano. They get his BKB bash.
Ooh.
Oh.
No bash, no Abyssal Blade. I mean, technically, you could have Ex Machina'd if he was paying enough attention.
So scary.
Yeah. Big item cooldown, or big item there. It is a 350 mana cost item though, so this is like not something that you usually want to carry on cores because you just don't have the mana to sustain this. But mid lane,
Here we
hits.
go.
Oh,
Yeah.
he gets caught. Oh, nicely done from him though. Oh, the Abyssal, and manages to catch the Tinker. The Nullifier is there. He's got the Force Staff. Do they have detection? BKB, Glimmer caped up. No way. Does he get out? Destroyer with the blink. He's safe. Up onto the high ground. Italiano Gangster managed to get on top of PA. The break doing so much damage, but the Ice Bat there from AB1 will control this Primal Beast, and they will get themselves the kill. The closest we have seen this Tinker going down, which would have been an absolute nightmare for the side of DogChamp. His buyback is not available for another 2 minutes.
No, that could have been it. That would have been it, as a matter of fact. But instead, just barely able to walk away there. He even had full mana, but he was not going to chance anything, not dying to any clip, really just any chance, because that would have been the game. But here we go. Roche has respawned. They still need to get a lot of those tier 5s on the DogChamp side as well. They've been kind of slowly inching forwards because they just took that insane team fight. All we know is Book of the Dead right now for them, and okay, Giant's Ring.
Giant's Ring for speed. I'm not sure if he takes it or if he gives it to the Void Spirit. I mean, both Arcanus Armor are really good. All right, they're going to give it to the Void Spirit.
Yeah.
Just no reason not to. Just tank him up. It's a very good item.
It's super sick.
I'm not sure if you noticed,
Roche.
but AB... Ooh, Stygian Deso. Okay, that's going to the PA.
They do need to scout this out.
They do. AB1 also has a Seer Stone, so you now have like 2,000 range ice paths. So,
Hey, it's pretty cool.
dude, look, he just warded from the middle of the river onto the high ground. That's good stuff. Classic. Look at the D ward there. They jump in. They find the Rubik. He just gets kicked away though. Yarn's gonna be okay. The Chronosphere catches the Death Prophet. The Aeon Disc gonna get purged right away by the Nullifier. Can he finish him off? He does have the damage, and he refreshed. So there is a second Chrono coming. The question is, who is he gonna find? Yarn on the side. There's this up with the Glimmer Cape, but gets Walrus Punch trying to blink away. Picked away as well. Destroyer, he wants to chase, but he gets found. He's got to be careful. The Chronosphere comes in. No way, the Wind Waker. Destroyer trying to run, but gets caught. Glimmer Cape, BKB, blinks out once again. He's going to survive, but maybe Stonebank. He's in trouble. He's got to run. Kids chasing after him. able to get that walrus punch. Still make another jump up onto the high ground and Destroyer. He's here to rejoin the fight, but there goes DNM. Gets him once again. The Hex comes through. They take down the Tinker. The dieback is there. AB1 in the middle of the fight, trying to do what he can. The Ice Path will control the Faceless Void for now, and Italiano Gangster here. I mean, he does a lot of damage on this Primal Beast. You gotta be careful. Nullifier comes back out. The buyback from the Tinker. It's off cooldown. They take down the Death Prophet, and now back into Roshan they go. Can they find more? Destroyer is hungry.
His middle tower is under attack.
And that, I mean, it's just the overextension from speed, because now this is a free Rosh, and it just barely is enough time for RCY to get his buyback. But looking towards mid now, they've got a direct line. RCY is going to deal with the waves. They're going to try to bring it over, but they're also trying to take the fight right now. They're rushing.
Yeah, Ice
AB1,
Path
he's
comes
carrying.
out. Macropyre, he's doing the work. A lot of damage coming through. They're afraid to continue the chase. They've got to finish this Roshan and fast. Destroyer comes in. He's managed to find them on the backside. Kit's doing some work, but the BKB coming through from Italiano Gangster is going to protect him for the moment. DNM trying to find his target. The charge away. It ends up connecting with the Tusk. He's going to go down. That's a dieback. DNM gets the Abyssal Blade out. The BKB pops in the process. Still has that Nullifier ready. If they can sign on top of him, they do. They find him. They force the BKB. Stonebank trying to chase after him. Destroyer goes in. He gets the Hex. He finds the PA. He pops his own BKB, but he's afraid to chase for more. No, he ends up going in anyway. The Hex is there. They got him with the Pulverize, and in comes Stonebank. They're going to be able to take down this Phantom Assassin. The triple kill on the Faceless Void. As he turns back around once again to go for this Roshan. 2 heroes remain on 5RATFORCESTAFF. But this Rosh is yoked. He's got everything. It's all on the deck.
Oh, it's not even the most important to get the Ags on the Faceless Void. They leave the cheese, but honestly, without AB1, this hold, it's not impossible. And we'll have to see how confident DogChamp actually feel in taking this. But I feel like they just throw Stonebank at anything and everything, and then they see what sticks. But also, if they get DNM, that might just be the game. And without that Jakiro, the high ground defense is not strong. I almost feel like they have to go for some type of creep cut, but look at the carts. This is the worst possible time for 5RAT.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got double Chronosphere to deal with. Even if you have the Aeon Disc, this Faceless Void is absolutely going to be able to take you down. DNM just throwing the daggers here, trying to do what he can to slow down this push, but they're able to find it so far. Stonebank goes in. It's up reverse time walking. I mean, if he happens to get the jump. Oh, he does. He gets him. Oh, but the Hex comes out. All right. Nice reflected there. The Abyssal Blade as well. Italiano Gangster comes in. Does hit him for the moment, but the BKB, it still doesn't work. He gets caught by the Abyssal. Faceless Void's first life is down. He does have the refresher, but held in place by the Remnant. He didn't get the refresher out in his inventory. He's going to pop it out. Time walks away. He's got the Chronosphere, drops it. Does catch 2 inside there, but the Yules, it's going to prevent him. The Aeon just protecting DNM for now, but he's got another Chrono. The third one of the fight. Can they actually take them down? Tusk will go down as well. 2 diebacks. Stonebank onto the tier 4s. Destroyer bouncing back and forth. It's up to Kids here on this Void Spirit. Can he do it? They're holding their ground. Bloody Knight with another. Oh, he's got the Ex Machina. That's what it is. The stones being thrown into the fountain, trying to make some space. The fight reset is Destroyer dropping that cheese on over to Stonebank. Again, he's got 1 more Chrono left.
With the glyph
Fortification. Slowed for the moment. They're looking for the back line. If they can get the Destroyer, it'd be huge. The Hex comes out. The Ice Path is there. They're trying to blow him up to charge through, but they just drop the Chrono instead. Stonebank, he's going to give up the life of his Tinker, but they take down speed. Potentially gets the BKB. He's going to be able to walk away. Kit's in some trouble, though. Can Stonebank finish him off? The refresher, the second Pulverize. They get him. And Italiano Gangster is not satisfied. He's on top of the Jakiro. He's going to be able to TP on home. It's just speed on the backside, trying to keep this Faceless Void at bay. Time dilation is there, but he's going to TP on back home onto the tier 4s. No, they're going to focus the throne. Ice Path is there. Speed able to fear away Stonebank. But it's just falling. You got the creeps, you got the minions. It seems like DogChamp are finally going to be able to close out this game at nearly 70 minutes.
Oh, it's so unfortunate. They almost get the Faceless Void there, and if they force Stonebank into buying back and then getting that Chrono just a little bit later, then DNM gets the heal on his fountain, and then they keep that team fight going. But just barely unable to keep that team fight going in their favor in their own fountain. 2 chronos almost in their own fountain at the end of the game there, but oh man, it's so close. At the same time as well, if AB1 is alive for the entirety of that base defense, both supports just getting a little bit too gung-ho on that Roche defense, giving too much to DogChamp, and then it just
Oh my god.
ended up kind of spilling out in their face. But oh my goodness.
Look at the
Well,
gold and XP grab at the end of this
yeah,
game, dude. What the heck is that?
it's
Oh my god. What a game, man. This was intense. I like it's just hard to really summarize like what just happened here. You got to feel a little bit of sympathy for the side of DogChamp. I think for them, especially Yaren, like he's got to be a little bit tilted just being unable to use telekinesis this game. Literally had to unbind the ability without forcing himself to crash, but we did say in draft, late game Faces Void, borderline the best hero in Dota, and they did kind of prove here that they made it work, but that is just game 1. We got game 2 coming up next, man. I don't know. I'm out of breath. This is a rough one. I need a break. We're going to go to a short break. We'll be back with our last and final game of the evening, everyone. Again, this is the BTS Pro Series Season 12. We'll see you in a bit.